Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and we're producing this episode for GoodCrowd.info. Our guests today are Derek Fetzer, who is the director of CaringCrowd, as well as Zach Schleien, who recently completed a successful project on the site. So stay tuned for this great episode.
Welcome to Your Mark on the World, bringing you another changemaker with champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
This episode is made possible via the support of our sponsors, including Johnson & Johnson's CaringCrowd. Zach, Derek, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Devin.
Derek, I really want to thank you, Derek, for stepping up to be our newest sponsor at GoodCrowd.info. We're thrilled to have your support at the Your Mark on the World Center and really appreciate the new partnership that we've created. And we're excited to learn more about CaringCrowd. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe, Derek, just take a minute, give us a quick overview of the site and what goes on there.
Sure. So CaringCrowd is a crowdfunding site very much similar to Kickstarter or GoFundMe. It's specifically for nonprofits working in community health or public health. I think some of the key advantages of the site is that we don't charge for use of the platform. Additionally, we have an advisory panel that reviews the projects before they get posted, and these reviewers come from institutions you'll recognize like Harvard, Johns Hopkins, etc. So they look at the projects before they get posted. Additionally, the projects there are matching opportunities on the site as well, and you'll see that clearly it's proudly sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. We really thank Johnson & Johnson for being so supportive with its mission.
Well, it is an exciting thing to see Johnson & Johnson commit to. It's a compelling endorsement of the crowdfunding model, and it's an exciting way for all of us to come together and work on global health issues that are so critically important. So, Zach, tell us about the project you did on CaringCrowd.
Yeah, so I launched a project on CaringCrowd in December, and it was around helping people who go through the NAMI Basics program. So NAMI is the nonprofit National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I started this project in honor of my friend who had lost his life to schizophrenia.
Oh, that's what a tragedy to motivate this, but I'm so glad you did. Tell us a little bit about how his mental illness contributed to his death.
Yeah, so just in detail, I know he had some challenges in terms of adhering to medication, just challenges with that. And unfortunately, they found his body by a river. It was a really horrible set of circumstances. But for me, what was really important was to raise funds to help other people like Lewis. So to get the support, and especially from a social support and from your family, essentially.
But one of the things, I'm no expert, and clearly, Zach, you know a lot more about this than I do, but it seems like mental illness is something that impacts most of us. We either will experience it ourselves or someone very close to us will. And without proper care, outcomes can be pretty bad.
No, 100%. And I think with NAMI, they're doing an incredible thing. So the program, just to give a little detail, it's called the NAMI Basics program, and it trains 350 parents who have children who have mental illness. So it's to support them and also to train 3 teachers. So I launched this project on CaringCrowd. It was very easy to launch, and I met Derek beforehand, and he asked if I would like to launch a project, and then with Lewis's passing, that's kind of what sparked me to really take this on. And we were able to raise over $9,500 in about 2 weeks. So it was it was a very successful project.
All that in, we spoke towards the end of October And I was surprised because Zach, within 2 weeks, he had the project posted on the site. And then when did it finally get, because there was the whole Giving Tuesday happening at the end of November.
Yeah.
There was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so it was before the holiday. So I wanted to make sure it was before the holiday when people are in that giving spirit, and also less of a chance of being on vacation. But
Right.
yeah, so it was very successful, and Derek gave a lot of support and guidance. But I just want to just articulate that it was really easy to launch. And I don't have a background in working with a nonprofit. I don't have a background in raising money. It was just based off of my passion to honor my close family friend Lewis and to help others like him.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting what you did in terms of understanding, you know, how you did some background research and understanding the condition.
Yeah.
And could you tell us?
Yeah. So once I decided to, once I identified the nonprofit, which was NAMI, and determined that the money would go towards the NAMI Basics program, I really wanted to have an understanding of what schizophrenia is. And I mean, I don't have it. I don't know anyone outside of Lewis who's had it. And I think there's a stigma. And I think I had a lot of thoughts about what it actually is. And what I did before launching this project, I wanted to understand what the disease was all about. So I went on Reddit and I went on the subreddit schizophrenia. And literally one night, I read post after post and watched different videos of people who have schizophrenia and like the challenges they face. And the articles I read were just like really raw and authentic. And I remember I was like crying. I'm reading this for like 3 hours, but what it allowed for me to do is to really understand what these people go through on a day-by-day basis.
Wow, that's powerful. So as you were working on the campaign, what was it like working on the campaign and raising money for this cause?
Yeah. I mean, I had a strategy going into it beforehand. So I had asked people beforehand if they'd be willing to donate. Because I think what's very important is you launch a project and you're able to raise money quickly. So it shows that maybe by after day one, you've already had 20% funded versus 2 weeks into it and then you only have 10%. And then it's much more challenging. You want a fast start. And it also helps with your own confidence. But just going back to, it was just a lot of outreach. I direct message people on Facebook, phone calls, emails. So it was a lot of just in person and just a lot of outreach and just spending time and just sharing Lewis's story. And also what was really powerful is you know where your money is going. You know it's going to the NAMI Basics program versus I'm going to give money to a nonprofit. I'm not sure where my money is going. And I think that was the really powerful thing. And that's what I really love about CaringCrowd and the structure that, yes, it goes to a nonprofit, but to a specific initiative.
Yeah. It is fun to be able to know not only what organization, but what project or initiative the money's going to. It gives you a much greater sense of impact, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So what are the outcomes of the campaign? How will the money be used and what's going to change in the world?
Yeah. So the proceeds, again, went to the NAMI Basics program. So it actually funded the whole program. We're able to now train 3 teachers when it comes to travel, when it comes to materials and supplies, and it also trains 350 parents of children who have some sort of mental illness. So yes, it's going to train a lot of people, but I think the exciting thing is the outcomes of what that actually means. You're going to now start seeing children now get the support that they need. So now whether they adhere to their medication your hope is that you could save a life. And I think that's the really powerful thing. And when I spoke with the director at NAMI, you really have a face of who you're connecting with and who you're actually giving the money to.
What is the most important lesson you've learned from your crowdfunding experience, Zach?
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to what you're passionate about and how you want to make a difference. And again, I want to express that you don't need to be someone who, whether works at J&J or works for a nonprofit, you could just be someone who has some interest in making the world a better place around global public health and just starting from there. And it's so easy to launch a project. And I think what's really important is that if enough of us, we may not cure or end the stigma around mental illness overnight, but when enough people create projects, little by little, we'll get to this grander goal.
That's something that I love about crowdfunding in general, is this whole notion of how it democratizes fundraising so that people like us can actually just start raising funds for those community projects and make an impact here and now.
Derek, why is this so important to J&J?
I think it's, for example, first of all, it's consistent with our credo, right? So I would say at a very high level, this is who the company is, right? And a lot of employees like myself join Johnson & Johnson because we do want to have that impact on the world, right? But in CaringCrowd and the crowdfunding aspect, it lets employees and people, it lets everybody, including J&J employees, work directly on projects important to them with their local communities or virtual communities. It could be their own backyard, but it could be someplace in Africa, Asia, or Latin America as well. We have projects happening in Trenton and in Jersey, San Diego, but also Nepal, etc.
It is exciting to see the incredible progress you're making, Derek, and I commend you for the effort that you're putting in, the difference you're making in the world. Zach, one last question for you. What's your superpower?
My superpower? I think it's just showcasing my passion and motivation to be able to, with the goal of just trying to make the world a better place. And I think when you are passionate about something and something bigger than yourself, it makes it easier to be able to communicate that through your words, but also just your actions, and you kind of give that off and rub that off on other people.
You'll find a way. You'll find a way.
100%.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me this afternoon. Derek, take a minute before we wrap up and tell people how they can learn more about CaringCrowd and how they can reach you personally, how they can, give us a little quick orientation on how you can launch a project on CaringCrowd.
Well, first of all, I'd invite everybody to just explore the site, www.CaringCrowd.org. At the top, you can always go to to create a project if you want to submit a project, and that will start the process with us. If you want to reach me, help@CaringCrowd.org.
Fantastic. Well, again, I want to thank you both for the time you spent today and wish you every success in solving the problems of global health around the world.
And thank you for inviting us and letting us be a part of this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, let's do some good.
At CaringCrowd, we believe everyone has the power to make a difference. Through our crowdfunding platform for community health, we empower passionate people to drive real change. Whether you work for a nonprofit organization, volunteer, or want to get involved for the first time, you can post a campaign on CaringCrowd. Join us, because caring is where change begins.
Thank you for listening. This podcast is available at youtube.com/Devin Thorpe. Subscribe to this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes by searching for Your Mark on the World. Every weekday, Devin hosts a CEO, celebrity, entrepreneur, or other changemaker here on the Your Mark on the World show to inspire and prepare you to make your mark. Devin is a champion of social good, writing about, advocating for, and advising people who are doing good. He is a Forbes contributor who is a recognized thought leader in social entrepreneurship, impact investing, and crowdfunding. To book Devin as a speaker, visit devinthorpe.com.